opportunity, which we plan on doing every Tuesday before City Council and probably COW as well. So, all right, at 6 p.m. today, Aurora will be under a wind chill warning until Thursday at 12 p.m. As we understand, temperatures will reach as low as negative 55 degrees with the wind chill. Let me thank all of our city staff, our community partners, the media, and residents for their professionalism and patience during this time. We have gone from crippling snowstorms to Arctic cold in just a couple of days. The Aurora Snow Team and our contractors have worked diligently to clear streets and will continue to do so. Due to dangerous cold, however, we have taken several steps to ensure the health and safety of our residents. We'll be closing City Hall and non-essential city services tomorrow, Wednesday, January 30th, and for the morning of Thursday, January 31st. We will reopen City Hall at noon on Thursday. We will also open a 24-hour emergency warming center at the Aurora Transportation Center located at 233 North Broadway in downtown Aurora. This is our Metro train station and transportation center and our PACE pulse point. It will open as a warming center beginning at 6 p.m. tonight and remain open as a warming center until noon on Thursday to coincide with the wind chill warning times. We encourage anyone in need to come to the train station, and we ask our community to help spread the word about its availability. A full list of warming centers is available online, but due to the extreme temperatures, some of them will have modified hours during this time as well. So we want to make sure we will have an uninterrupted location available during the most critical times. Today we have a number of department chiefs on hand to address weather-related concerns from their perspective. We have Aurora Police Chief Kristen Zeman, Aurora Fire Chief Gary Krenitz, and Chief of Public Works Ken Troth. Before we take questions from the media, I want to again thank the public for their patience and assistance during this time. Please continue to monitor social media and our website for any additional updates. Questions from the media? Go right ahead.
Jason Craig from the Voice newspaper. What is the best way for someone to do a well-being check on a neighbor they haven't seen or some elderly neighbor that they're concerned for?
And I'll let both chiefs, go ahead. Go.
Hi, I heard it's going to be cold tomorrow. Well, first of all, I want to let you know that our police officers are going to be out tomorrow. Police officers, public safety, first responders don't get the day off tomorrow. They're going to be out and about. So if anyone has an emergency, I want people to know that our squad cars and our police officers are going to be out there. So if you see them driving by in the cold, make sure you give them a wave. But what can be done is, first of all, check on your neighbors if you can, just especially those who live alone, and I'm sure some other people are going to talk about that, but make sure that you check on people that are close to you and people that could be in need of assistance. And obviously, if you do need medical emergency or law enforcement emergency, you can call 911 and we are going to show up. So that's pretty much the long and the short of it is that public safety is going to be out there, so if you need them, call.
Chief?
Yeah, I'll just, Chief Gary Krenitz, Fire Chief. I just want to actually address the several public safety items that are fire related over the cold here. Take the cold weather seriously. Don't travel if you don't need to. Stay off the roads. That helps public safety altogether. If you're not out there driving around and not on the roads, just hold up tight in your house if you don't have, if you can. Some things I'd like to see the public do to pass along to their fellow friends and family members. Be careful using space heaters. Make sure that you have 36 inches clearance around those space heaters. That creates a nice area so that you don't cause a fire using those. Don't plug your space heaters into extension cords. That causes an extension cord to fail and will cause a fire as well. Plug that space heater directly into the wall outlet. That's the safest way to use it, so please do that. Don't use any open flame devices in your house for heating. Please don't use your stove to heat. Don't use a propane heater or a kerosene heater in your homes. Those are very dangerous in there. Please don't do that. Under no circumstance use an open flame device such as a torch to thaw frozen water pipes. That's absolutely the wrong thing to do. Should that immediately. Don't try to put that out yourself, but you need to call the fire department. Along with using things, don't use generators inside your garage as well. Those need to be outside in a well-ventilated area. Let's prevent water pipes from freezing altogether. Open cabinet doors that are on exterior walls. Open all your circulation vents in the house. I'd like to also take the opportunity, this is of utmost importance for everyone to check and make sure they have working smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors in their homes. Very valuable at this time that you have those. Once again, be sure to call 911 if you have any fire or police emergency. We're out there to help you.
Mr. Schroep, can you follow up on the frozen pipes and some of the other issues that families might occur?
Sure. First, I'll touch base on what Public Works is doing for the next 48-hour period. We also cannot just shut down, so the street division is going to have all 3 of their shifts manned. Water and sewer, they're going to have 4-person crews set up for their 3 shifts to respond to the water main breaks that are pretty typical this time of year. We have an electrician on call, as well as our contractor that takes care of all of our traffic signals. And as the mayor had stated, the transit centers will be staffed on 12-hour rotations, both the ATC and Route 59. And as the mayor stated, we truly do appreciate the public's patience. I mean, this winter started out phenomenally mild, as you remember December, if you can remember that far back. But some stats, with a little trace of snow that's coming today, this will be the 13th day in a row with at least some snow. The first time this has happened since the winter of 1978 to 79, that brutal winter. This is the 9th snow operation in 16 days, and we're just finishing now. We've had 17 events so far this season, and 10 of them have occurred just in this month alone. And so our guys have been working really hard, 12-hour shifts. Many times those getting stretched into 16-hour shifts. And our snow plan calls for, at the completion of the snow event, when a snowstorm ends, our goal is to try and get all the residentials plowed within 12 hours of the completion of that snow event. So again, we appreciate everyone's patience. Chief Kranitz mentioned what to do about frozen pipes. We have on the city website, on our water and sewer website, underneath Public Works, it gives you some ideas of how to prevent pipes from freezing. And remember, it's very difficult for a pipe to freeze if there's any type of flow in it. So if you've got a section of your house that has a cold pipe on an exterior wall and you know that sink might be susceptible to freezing, you might want to turn on both the hot and the cold water tap with just a little bit of a trickle so that that flow keeps moving. And it's also important in some older parts of the community that have water services outside that are less than 5 feet deep with cover, to have some kind of flow somewhere in your house just to keep that service going so it doesn't freeze outside as well. With that, I will turn it back over to the mayor or additional questions.
Any additional questions? Please.
This is the second of a 1-2 winter punch. We had the snow come through. Driving around Aurora yesterday, it looked like your people had a pretty good handle on the situation. Things were clear. I wonder what's your assessment, if you offer a quick critique on snow removal this week.
Some of the best staff probably in the state of Illinois, and our team that works on snow removal, probably also one of the best that you'll see in our probably tri-state area. We've had a number of events this year, and every single time they've been on top of it. And the good thing about it is not only do we just Aurora, 200,000 people, second largest city in the state. Not only do we rely on our employees to assist, but they've also worked with contractors that spread out throughout the city. As you can recognize, not only do we have the main thoroughfares that need to be plowed, we also have our many communities and neighborhoods and neighborhood streets. So they do an amazing job. So not only does our team come together that works here for the city, but they also contract a number of very good folks that assist with the plowing throughout the city. And yesterday, as myself and my chief of staff drove through the city to see how the streets looked, we were very pleased to see that the snow had been removed very quickly. And You know, it didn't just stop, snow once and then stop.
Yeah.
You know, it continued to snow. So right, so they had to go back out, you know, a second and sometimes a third time. So our team, our city team was on top of it.
How's your salt supply?
I can answer that. And adding to the mayor, I'm such a stat guy. Unlike many of our surrounding communities, we have over 1,200 lane miles to clear. I mean, that's enough one way to get you from here to Disney World. So, and we've got to do that. And that's with the help of contractors. We've got 37 snow routes and 12 of those are manned by contractors. So, I mean, that's a lot to get done in a short period of time. And so as far as salt, man, we started the winter off with 8,500 tons in storage, including the 7,000 tons in our 2 domes, as well as about 1,500 tons under tarp. But a city this size, in one operation, I mean, a 8-hour period, we can go through 400 to 500 tons. To get that replenished, you're talking eight truck loads coming in per day, and we can go through that same amount of salt, double that in one day. So we've got 7,000 tons on order. We've had about 5,000 on order for about 2 weeks. They're bringing in as fast as they can from 2 different suppliers. We're currently at about 1,500 tons. So we've got enough for at least 3 more operations, and today they're delivering. And one of the reasons the street guys are working tomorrow and Thursday is because we're also getting sand delivered and salt delivered over the next 2-day period as well.
Jason for the voice.
What is the process? Is it rock salt and sand, and do you also use a brine, did I hear, or is it kind of a liquid?
We do. If the conditions are right, we will be able to put brine on the street, which is basically, making salt water and distributing it through tankers. But we only have enough tankers with 1,200 lane miles. We can't do everything, so we concentrate that brine on bridges, curves, and hills. But typically, for the most part, we use rock salt.
Did they ever use beet juice, or I heard maybe there were problems with some white cars that would get kind of stained? Is that true, or is that?
I understand about 10 years ago, the then Public Works Director did experiment with what was on the market at the time, and we're willing to look at that again in the future, but after we have enough equipment to deploy it in quantity.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi,
Daily.
I have a question, I guess regarding the use of the Aurora Transportation Center as a warming center. Has the city done that before? What led to using that as a warming center this time?
I believe it was in 2014 or 15 when we used it for extreme colds at that particular time. Tell you what, I'll let.
No, I mean, yeah, we did use it for both those years, and yeah, we had people stopping by there at any one time. I think it was maybe 10 people at one time, so it wasn't overly populated, but it was certainly available to the public should they need to use it.
Is there a security issue at all, especially at a place like Route 59 that's so secluded and all the just parking lots around there?
So at Route 59, is that one open as well?
It-
I
Okay.
mean, here, the
No,
Aurora Transportation Center
I
is
would say
easily
it's just the
accessible.
Trans Center, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just Trans Center, so yeah, it won't be the Route 59 station at all, but yes.
No, 59 will be open through the last train coming out of Chicago.
Okay, but after hours.
Oh, but it won't be.
Right, correct.
Okay,
After
gotcha.
hours is just downtown.
But ATC is gonna be open
24 hours.
24
Okay,
hours.
sorry,
Yes,
misunderstood.
yes, absolutely. And so, yes, we have people there, and then we also have officers who are going to be stopping in and making sure that everything is okay and everyone is okay.
And when she says people will be there, we have volunteers that will be assisting us, some of them from the Hesed House, management from the Hesed House, or employees from the Hesed House that will be coming to assist with anyone that might need that as a warming center.
And
Whether it
city
be-
employees.
And city employees will be there as well. Whether it's one person, 10 people, or 20 people, we want to make sure everyone in our community is provided a warm place and kept safe. I'll come back at you. Were you finished up with your?
Well, I was gonna ask more about the homeless. We know that there are recalcitrant homeless people who don't wanna go to Hesed or shelters. What, if anything, can the city do about people who say, no, I don't wanna go anywhere? How does that, public safety on
Yeah,
that?
that's a public safety, yeah. I mean, first of all, obviously, it's, whether homeless or not, people are people. So we're going to be looking at anyone who is outside, and we're going to be looking to assist them. I mean, the stats I heard that 4 minutes outside and your skin is going to, start to really be in pain. So homeless or not, we're going to be trying to assist anyone and get them back into sheltered areas. But if it does reach the level of a medical attention, I'll turn that over to the chief.
Yeah, we'll be driving around in a community resource. Arvin is going to be driving around in a van offering rides to individuals to these facilities. But you're right, there are people who do refuse treatment, and unfortunately that is their right to do so, and we do encourage them to use the facilities, but it's ultimately their decision and their right to do that. And unfortunately then it does put themselves at risk, and they need to be aware of the risks that they're putting themselves at. We will respond medically with ambulances to them should someone call in and they request their assistance too, but we can't physically force someone to go somewhere that they don't want to go to. That's just the facts of life.
Voice?
I know there isn't a representative from PACE here, but do we know if the bus schedule will remain the same, and are the buses able to handle the cold? Do you know, or have we heard?
Or Metro too.
Metro.
Right now, Metro's on a modified schedule for tomorrow that's
Oh, they
posted. And PACE currently has their paratransit schedule has been canceled. But it looks like their regular schedule is still operational.
Sir?
Jump back to the very beginning of all this. Just sort of why are you doing this? Is the first time you're doing this media outreach? What's your rationale for doing this? What's motivating you to do this?
To make sure that our citizens are aware of everything that's going on in the city, and we, make sure they're part of the process. It's important. That's why at our city council meetings we started opening up to Facebook Live, and we consistently invite people to come participate in the process. Or people, I believe our citizens know about what's going on in the city, the better we are, because they'll let us know what the issues are that we need to be addressing.
Just another way of getting
Absolutely.
your message.
Absolutely.
Are we on Facebook Live right now?
Mhm.
Oh, I would have said my name. Sue Sarkowski, Daily Herald.
Sue Sarkowski's y'all from Daily Herald.
Yes, ma'am?
Well, let's talk about something besides snow and cold.
Well, all right, we'll come back to that in a second. Or do we have any more questions as concerning the weather? All right, well, thank you guys.
Do
I
you guys
appreciate
need
it.
anything for TV?
Yeah, do you mind, sir, do you mind just going over pretty quick about the weather, how you guys gonna be able to handle, is any warming centers, is any public buildings are gonna be open for this?
Before we move on, I'll go ahead and read my statements for
Thanks, appreciate it.
As of 6 p.m. today, Aurora will be under a wind chill warning until Thursday at 12 p.m. As we understand, temperature will reach a low as much as minus 55 degrees with the wind chill. We thank all our city staff, community partners, the media, and residents for their professionalism and patience during this time. We have gone from crippling snow and crippling snowstorms to Arctic cold in just a couple of days. The Aurora Snow Team and our contractors have worked diligently to clear the streets and will continue to do so. Due to the dangerous cold, we have taken several steps to ensure the health and safety of our residents. We will be closing City Hall and all non-essential city services tomorrow, Wednesday, January 30th, and for the morning of Thursday, January 31st. We will reopen City Hall at noon on Thursday. We will also open a 24-hour emergency warming center at the Aurora Transportation Center located at 233 North Broadway in downtown Aurora. This is our Metro train station and PACE pulse point. It will be open as a warming center beginning at 6 p.m. this evening and remain open as a warming center until noon on Thursday to coincide with the wind chill warning times. We encourage anyone in need to come to the train station, and we ask our community to help spread the word about its availability. A full list of warming centers is available online. Due to the extreme temperatures, some of them will have modified hours during this time as well. So we want to make sure we will have an uninterrupted location available during the most critical times. Today, of course, we have our department chiefs with us, our Chief of Police, Kristen Zeman, our Chief of Fire, Gary Krenitz, and our Chief of Public Work, Ken Stroh. And we are all here to address the issues of our community and make sure that our citizens are safe in this extreme cold.
How about homeless people, sir?
And we talked about that.
What's your question specifically about the homeless?
You're gonna be able to handle, go look for them.
So
take
we
care
are
of them.
activating through the community resource department here, and we're also using what we call the Fuse vehicle. They're going to be out offering services to the homeless, transport them to the warming centers and to the shelters. So they're going to be going out. We're also going to be reaching out to victim services in the area to provide shelter for the homeless as well. Let me also, I want to throw a plug out here, Mr. Mayor.
go ahead.
I forgot to mention that I would like everyone in the public to take a look outside their front window, and if they don't see their fire hydrant, I'd really like them to go out there and try to dig that out for us. That's the lifeblood of what we do in the fire service. In an emergency, we don't have time to be trying to look and find that hydrant and dig it out. So if you could go out there safely, bundle up, get your kids out there with you and adopt a hydrant, please go ahead and shovel that. Stay out of the roadway when you do that. We don't want you to get hurt. Stay on the public way over there, but try to dig those out for us. It's very helpful. Thank you.
One more thing on that as well. If you have an obstructed address, please clear the numbers on your home, on your residence, on your business. Should anyone call 911, it makes it very difficult to find you when that's obstructed. So if you could also clear that as well, that would be very helpful for public safety.
And Ken, just one more time, can you explain what folks need to do to make sure their pipes don't freeze?
It's very difficult for any pipe to freeze if there's moving water. So basically, if you've got an area susceptible to freezing that's unheated, as Chief Krenitz mentioned earlier, one thing is to open the cabinet doors to that plumbing fixture so that more warm air can get to it, and then also turn both the hot and cold water on a small trickle just to keep that water moving.
Another question concerning weather?
Okay. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned, I believe the fire chief had mentioned, you'll be having this vehicle going around offering rides to the transportation center for the homeless. But for people who are not homeless but maybe have broken down furnaces or whatever, who would like to use that warming center, how can they get there?
I don't.
We gotta rely on self-transportation
Okay.
as best we
Just
can.
making sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
However, it would apply to whether homeless or not. The transportation would
Yeah,
be
if
somewhat
they
and
can
take some
get there,
right.
they can be there.
Exactly right. Thank you very much, folks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Chief. All right, so let's go on to other issues in the media. Assume you have a question on Representative Kiplewood's House bill.
That's it.
All right. I'd like to address this proposed House bill in the Illinois legislature sponsored by State Representative Stephanie Kiplewood. The bill proposes to change the current appointed Aurora Library Board of Directors to an elected Board of Directors. As I shared with the Daily Herald in an article today, since I took office, we have already taken measures to move the library into a greater self-sufficiency. We have been preparing the library to stand independently from the city by making sure that they do things like manage their own payroll and manage their own insurance services. Now, in addition to those things I just mentioned, managing their payroll and managing their insurance service, of course, the city appoints members to the library board. The city also approves the library board budget and its ability to issue referenda. State Representative Kiplewood's bill, as is incomplete and does not reflect what a true autonomous taxing body should be. Had she taken the time to speak with the city or the library, a comprehensive bill could have been drafted based on simple communication and clear intention. She never contacted the leadership of the library. She never contacted the leadership of the city before proposing this incomplete bill. Now, after the article in the Daily Herald was published, I did see the representative responded on her social media page by saying the bill could be amended and improved, and I invite her to the table for that conversation.
Mayor, what do you mean it's incomplete? What else would you want in it?
Well, the suggestion was that the library board, by having these elected board of directors, would stand on its own and truly represent the interests of the people. But as long as the city is involved in any aspect of the library business, it's not truly autonomous. For example, the minute I was elected mayor, my chief of staff and my executive team and I talked about the fact that we'd like to have the library stand more independently.
Right.
So at that particular time, we provided their payroll services, which we've focused on making sure they stand on their own and provide their own payroll services. We provided their insurance services. We're working to make sure they stand on their own and provide their own payroll services. We currently, which we have not worked on yet, we currently still pass their budget. We currently still determine the ability for them to have any type of referendum. If this is going to be complete and the library is truly going to stand on its own, it should be totally separated from any City of Aurora activity.
But given that can't just be a change for Aurora, right? That would have to be a change they make, because that's how libraries are organized. They're either districts or city libraries under state statute, and if they're city libraries with the city limits, this is how it's organized. So wouldn't that have to be a more wide-ranging change than just for Aurora?
That's a very good point. And these are things that should be considered, when introducing a bill. It just can't focus on one location in one city and one particular library district. And these are things that we need to be talking about before we just start throwing bills out there.
Do you think the time has come for an Aurora Library District instead of a city library?
And to Ms. Kivelowitz' point, Representative Kivelowitz' point, that'll be up to the voters to make that determination if, this particular issue goes to referendum, and once we talk about if it's feasible to separate the two. I do believe in fair representation for everyone, and I believe that, folks should have the ability to represent their interests, have someone that represents their interests in their community. I supported and believed in when the Foxbury Park District went from appointed individuals to elected. However, that wasn't something that just happened by introducing a bill. It happened by people working together to determine how we could make that happen. And then the people decided after referendum that this is how we proceed. And let me add to that. You asked the question, do I think it's time? And I'm one individual, one citizen of one community. This is what we need to be talking to our community about and asking them what they feel.
How do you feel about the library dropping the proposal to move the West Branch? You've been at the press conference in the fall as part of, the proposal. What are your thoughts on that?
That's something that they made the determination that they wanted to move, and they made a determination after speaking with the community that probably wasn't the best time right now. So, I have no opinion on it. The community spoke, they heard, they made the determination that they weren't going to move.
Would it affect, at that press conference you had talked about, for example, the city obtaining the Todd Early Learning Center building, which is being vacated by the school district? Any update on that?
No, there are no updates on that at this time. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you, folks.
We have about 5 minutes. Any general questions before we wrap?
Any general questions you want to talk about?
I have one question.
You do?
How does it feel?
That's Steve Lohr from Beacon News. Go ahead. Just in case people on Facebook didn't know.
I just wondered how it feels to be immortalized in a bobblehead. I noticed they're for sale now.
I have determined that you have not achieved in life until you have your own bobblehead. I think everybody should have one. I haven't actually seen them yet, other than a picture, so I'll be just as interested to see what they look like in person as you may be. Is that a good likeness? Right.
And this is Friday. They're making their coming out party. So
they're coming out party the first Friday here in Aurora. So when these bobbleheads come in, I'm sure I'll be looking in the mirror and holding one up to see if there's that same likeness that you see.
I just saw a picture. That's all.
Go ahead. Ma'am.
Oh, I hate to say this, but back to cold weather. Have you talked to officials from the Premium Outlets Mall about closing or not closing?
No, we haven't had any conversation with them, but I'm sure they'll make the right decision as all the other agencies and organizations around the city. This isn't just cold weather. This is extreme cold weather that we don't normally see. You know, we haven't seen the likes of this since 1984, 1985. You know, it doesn't happen every day. I was talking to someone earlier today that said that there are folks, you know, my kids, you know, my daughter that's 26 years old has never experienced this type of weather and this type of cold. So we've got to prepare. We've got to prepare ourselves and make sure we protect ourselves over the next couple of days until this passes. Bunker in and stay warm and wait till it goes by.
As a former East Aurora High School student, just recently they started having bus service. Do you mind explaining or sharing your experiences as an former East Aurora student, what it was like to have to
Man, I was an East Aurora student in '85
Right.
when it was cold back then, and I can tell you, standing outside waiting for the city bus to come down the street, staring off down the block, hoping that it'd come over the horizon. Those were some cold times. So I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate the fact that my school district finally has bus service. They did a great job making sure that happened 2 school seasons ago. So, you know, and it's good for the kids. The kids know what time the bus is going to come. They know what time to step out to the curb. You know, there's not a whole lot of guessing, a whole lot of waiting, looking over that horizon for that city bus. Not just me. I believe Clay Muhammad went to East Aurora School District. He took the city bus. You know, so you know, I'm glad that all of our students in the city of Aurora now have the opportunity to actually be bused directly to the front door of their school.
Okay. We thank you guys for coming out again for the public. Thank you to Univision, the Daily Herald, the Beacon, the Voice, and the Chronicle. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week. Thank you.